Hey, so just a quick reminder, this is part 2 of a 2-part video diary kind of thingy. It's about my history with musical instruments. If you didn't see the part 1, you can go check it out. But this is part 2, so yeah, let's just jump right into it. So, I got this, and then I was like, alright, you need to stop buying instruments. Like, you're spending way too much money on instruments. Just stop. And so I stopped buying instruments for a while. And then I decided, well, you know, I need an upgrade to my ukulele because the soprano just isn't really cutting it, nor is the baritone. And so I wanted like a true ukulele. And so there's 2 other sizes in between soprano and baritone, and that is concert size and tenor. And so I opted for a tenor. And so this is my tenor ukulele. Both the soprano and the tenor are Lanakai ukuleles. And so I really enjoyed this one. I love the finish and the color and everything about it. It's a great ukulele. But there's one thing about it that I just really I needed to change, and that is the electronics, or rather the lack thereof. And so I was like, okay, one more ukulele, then you'll complete the whole set. I really wanted a ukulele that I could plug in. And so the last ukulele I bought was this ukulele. It's a Cordoba concert size, and it has an electronic input, and so you can play it plugged in, and it sounds great. This is probably my favorite ukulele that I've bought. Nothing much else to say on this, but yeah, this is the last ukulele I bought. But it's not the last instrument I've bought. And so from this point, the timeline gets a little bit fuzzy for me. Just to wrap up the acoustic side of things, I will show you my last guitar that I bought. Yeah, it's the last guitar I bought. And it is the Taylor GS Mini. I really love this guitar. It packs a lot of punch for a smaller guitar. It's I don't know, maybe like a 3/4 size guitar. So I like the size of it. It's really easy to pick up and play. It's really lightweight, and so it's great for traveling and things like that. I've really enjoyed having this, taking it on a number of road trips, and it's just been really easy and takes up less space, it weighs less. But this is my last acoustic guitar that I bought. To wrap up the area of acoustic instruments, this is the last acoustic instrument that I bought. It is a U-bass, a ukulele bass. It has like these super thick, crazy thick strings. Really interesting instrument. I meant to teach myself bass on this, but I never did. So I bought it, and it just really hasn't done anything. But I opted for this rather than a regular bass because, I don't know, it's more interesting, and I thought that might inspire me to learn it. And plus, not a lot of people have these, so it's kind of a fun gimmick, I guess. A really interesting instrument, but didn't really do too much with it. Okay, we are almost to the end of this video, I promise. So as you know, I went from ukulele to fake guitar, and so from fake guitar, I was like, well, does that mean that I can play fake electric guitar? And the answer is, kind of. I quickly learned that electric guitar is very different than acoustic guitar. You'd think it'd be pretty similar, and I guess essentially the fingering can be similar, but like there's so many other elements in electric guitars, to the amps, to the pedals, to it's just way more complex than I expected, and again, I just didn't really have the time or inspiration to invest into teaching myself that. But anyways, my dad plays a lot of instruments, and he had an extra electric guitar laying around. It was really old and not in the best of shape, but he got it fixed up a little bit, and so we tried it out, and it worked decently well, not the greatest. There's some things wrong with it, but this is an Orlando fake Telecaster, I think. I love the guitar. I have a rubber band here because the strings kept flying off because it's not strung or tuned correctly. I love this guitar. I love the look of it. I love the neutral colors. I really love the Telecaster shape and the Telecaster sound. It's probably one of my favorite electric guitar shapes. But anyways, it was just really hard to learn on this, and like I said, there were a few things still wrong with it, even after getting it fixed up a little bit so that I could play it, but it just still wasn't working how another electric guitar would. So I am more so keeping this out of sentimental value because it means a lot that my dad would fix this up as well as fix up the case. And so from this, I then got my final instrument, which is another electric guitar. Alright, so this final guitar is just a Fender Squier guitar. Squier is their like entry-level model. And so the story behind this particular guitar is that it was actually my friend Bryant, who you should know by now if you watch this channel at all. This was actually his old guitar. I stole it from him and he doesn't know it. Just kidding. We did a trade. So what happened was that Bryant put his name into a drawing at this music store, and you know, you never win drawings, but he ended up winning this one, and what he won was pretty awesome. He won an American Telecaster like custom or something like that. I don't know, but it's an amazing guitar and it's beautiful. And he's like, well, I don't really need this anymore. And I let him try out a number of pedals that I had because I bought a bunch of electric guitar accessories like pedals and things like that. And so he tried out some of those, and there was only like a few that he wanted, but he was like, what if you give me these pedals and I give you this guitar? And I'm like, sounds good, because I don't really use these pedals because again, I just don't really understand or know how to use these things. So that is how I got this guitar, and that's essentially all of the instruments that I own currently. Like I said, there is way too many instruments in this room right now. Way too much money spent. But we're not gonna talk about that. We're just going to enjoy the Somebody needed some attention, as always. But anyways, these are my instruments, and I wanted to make this video for a while now, but I just didn't really get around to it. But I think I'll be getting rid of some of them, so I wanted to make it. It's not so much for you as it is for me. This is essentially my video journal about my musical instruments and my musical journey. I tend to be kind of a sentimental person and a little bit of a hoarder if I'm not careful. And so I wanted to make this video for myself to remember these instruments and appreciate them, because even though the soprano ukulele that I started out with is not really an instrument that I will continue to play, there's things about it that I really don't like, but I really appreciate it because it opened me to this whole world, as well as to overcome some fears and some anxieties through learning these musical instruments. Like I said, I have a little bit of a musical background, but honestly, learning ukulele was one of the most frustrating things I ever did. But thankfully, I persevered and I overcame, and now music is a big part of my life. It's not the biggest part of my life anymore, but it's a big part of my life, and I am thankful for it and I appreciate it. And so yeah, there's a little bit more about me and my journey when it comes to music. Maybe I will make one about cameras or something like that in the future. But anyways, there's that. Thanks for watching, and we will talk to you later. Peace. I did forget one instrument, but I already gave that one away. I had this mandolin that I thought was a good idea to buy at the time, but the neck is just so small and I just couldn't really get into it. And so when my dad was here visiting for graduation, he was really enjoying playing that. So I ended up giving that to him for Christmas. He really was touched by it and seems to be enjoying it a lot. That's it. The end.